guys.
Right
Get
on.
a drink. Yeah. Well, welcome to this edition of Family Hour on the YAHOWAH blog. We're going to begin this with a song. It'll be a song that my wife composed. It was actually quite some time ago. And one of our members of the Covenant family presented it just a couple of days ago on my feed. And I said, boy, that is really beautiful. And it's appropriate to play at this time. So I'm expecting that it's going to be keyed up. And here we go.
Even I will sing unto YAHOWAH. Even I will sing his tenderness towards Yisrael. Memories flood like the river Yarden of laughter and tears. In the warmth of Yah's home I faced all my fears. Oh, the man of Edom, Yada, walks the earth, bringing reconciliation and rebirth. In Yahweh's name we find light. In the darkness the man of Edom ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand. Take Yah's promise in your hand. Speak softly to her, the potential bride. Walking in your word, we rise from the wilderness. Nations brought her low, and yet Yom Kipurym is filled with ambition. In this Nakry, blood is drawn. Oh, be still my soul, the man of Edom walks the earth, bringing hope and rebirth. In the shadows we find the voice of light. In the Nakry he ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand. Take Yah's promise in your hand. Prepare the feast, let the heifer fall for us all on Yom Kippur. In the eyes of the children you see the war is won. Kiss the king, don't let him frown. Time to lay our burdens down. Oh, my soul, the man of Edom walks the earth, bringing hope and rebirth. In Yahweh's name we find light. In the darkness of that day he ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand. Take Yah's promise in your hand. Now wash your clothes, let the ashes and water blend. His love knows no end. The harlot stands cleansed, ready to wed the man of Edom as her Zikaron.
Goodness.
Wow.
I feel like we could do an entire show just on explaining the names and the symbols of that song, because it is the story of Israel's redemption and reconciliation. That may be the most beautiful that she ever wrote. The timing, pacing, lyrics, graphics of that song, and the message behind it, really extraordinary. You have to have a bit of a PhD in Torahology and the prophets, I think, to have a full appreciation of it, because there's lots of symbols there. But that grizzled guy that she depicted as the man from Edom, I don't think I look quite that bad yet, but that nonetheless is me. I am the man from Edom, which means I'm also that red cow that you saw there, because the man from Edom, he is red, he is bloodied. He lays down his life during the final series of Nakry, during Sukah on Taruw'ah, for the benefit of Yisrael. And he cleanses the adulterous woman, which is what she was talking about with those waters. And the adulterous woman becomes the bride of King Dowd. As he returns, he is able to be betrothed to Israel at long last, because she's been cleansed of her religious guilt. And when you consider all of that and the imageries associated with it, even the zikaron at the end, the zikaron is the most memorable of men. It is incredibly powerful. And I, just in this summary, I probably left out 2/3 of the insights that she managed to fit into
lots to unpack.
Very
4
powerful,
minutes of song. Wow.
It had the lesser luminary. She even was slick enough to get in the solar eclipse. Caught that.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yes, the first mention of the pairing between Dowd, our king, and his herald, Yada, which is the name that of the player all the way through that story, and that's why she presented as Yada, is actually presented in the first chapter of the Torah. It's the whole story of the greater and lesser luminaries, with the lesser luminary reflecting the greater luminary's light during this time of darkness, where his brilliance has been obscured. And that together they are the signs and the symbols of the Mow'ed, of these restoring witnesses to the eternal testimony, the two men that sacrificed their lives to fulfill this path that God has provided back home. And so it is interesting that as the AdamahParah, that red bull that you saw, sometimes called a red heifer, but it's really he's a bull that is productive, which is why it gets the ending at the end of it. The reason that she showed the solar eclipse is because on Taruw'ah in 2033, the 23rd, 24th of September of that year, less than 8 years from now, when this occurs, there will be a full solar eclipse. And it's the one time that the moon actually blocks out the sun, because it's, it is the lesser luminary. And at this moment, though, that lesser luminary plays that prime role, the moon, representing the moon, positioning the sun for his return. It is it's one of the greatest stories ever presented. Yahweh is the greatest storyteller ever. Right. And there are so many intricacies to his story, so many different layers that are woven together, so many marvelous metaphors, and that song presents all of them. I don't know, what did I miss so far on it? Because I think it's actually wise now with that explanation of knowing what's going to happen. We might just play it again now that everybody's a little more up to speed. This is our mission. I've been particularly, the timing of it is important, because over the last few weeks, I have been living this and trying to define it and trying to figure out the best way to convey it. And so I was wanting to update. This is volume 1 of Coming Home. And written volume 2 and volume 3, and in that process we have presented the greatest discovery of all time. There's nothing anywhere close to it. That though David's not only the Messiah and the Son of God, our former and returning King, he is our Savior. He is the one who, in a second of 3 lives, came in 33 CE, year 4000 Yah, which is why, by the way, the lesser and greater luminary are presented on the 4th day of creation. He came in year 4000 Yah, 33 CE, to fulfill Pesach Matzah B'Kodem, opening the doorway to life, taking our guilt away so that we would appear not guilty in God's presence, so we could enter his home as his children, inherit all that he has to give, and be enriched and empowered by God. No one knew that. We went 2,000 years. Dowd had made it clear. Yahweh had made it clear, but everyone had either read past it or stolen it. And the truth about Dowd is the basis of Judaism and Christianity. Not the truth. They robbed Dowd of everything that is important to him. They robbed his title, Messiah. They robbed him of his title, Son of God. They robbed him of his title, King and returning King. They robbed him of the realization he's coming back. They robbed him of the realization that he volunteered to fulfill Pesach Matzah B'Kodem as the Passover lamb, his soul taking our guilt into Sheol, and then returning to his Father as the firstborn of firstborn children. It's the greatest discovery overwhelmingly in human history. It completely negates Judaism, which promoted a false Messiah in Bar Kokhba and is expecting a unknown Messiah to return. It completely negates Christianity that is based on Paul robbing Dowd of all of this and giving it to a mythical creation named Jesus. And so it annuls the world's largest religions while presenting the path to the redemption of humankind and reconciliation of Yisrael with YAHOWAH. And it is the lesser luminary, as foretold in the 4th day of creation in Bereshith, Genesis 1, that discovered this, proved it, explained it. And that is why he is now qualified to serve in this role. And, you know, I get weary at times from people saying, you know, you're being presumptuous to write yourself into the story. And I didn't write myself into this story.
No.
And, you know, if I'm going to write myself into a story, I'm going to pick a role that's better than the role of the man from Edom, who is all bloody red and saves many because he's slaughtered. I'm going to pick something other than the AdamahParah. That's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
In fact, in the 34th Mizmor that we read earlier today, it says that there's only one bone in his body that will be unbroken by the time this is all done. That's how gruesome the sacrifice is going to be. So, you know, I didn't write myself into this story, and if I would have, I'd have done a heck of a lot better job of doing it. And there is nothing to be gained here. I mean, all I'm doing is, there is something to be gained. We're making YAHOWAH happy. We're doing something that YAHOWAH wanted done. We're delivering YAHOWAH's family back to him. We're calling God's people home. We're completing the job that Moshe and Dowd began, the job that Yeshayah taught us how to fulfill. So we're doing something that pleases God no end. But, you know, understand this is this is not like being a rabbi. There's no money in this. There is no fan club in this. To do this job, you have to expose and condemn Christianity, Islam, you know, condemn goddamn religion, Islam, condemn Christianity. There's 5 books of this one, 5 books of the other, 10 all total. Condemn Judaism, which I did in the Babel series, and condemn the MAGAs and the Marxists and the conspiratorialists. And now even, well, I don't. Yeah, I thought I was going to have to condemn the mother goddesses, but God took care of that for me. So
I already did it.
I already did it. Wait till we do the show on that one. It'll blow your mind. how good God is at this refutation stuff.
How about
So-
this, Craig? How about without Yada, Shamayim remains void, a la Isaiah, Yashiah. How about, you're the straw upon which stirs this drink into Shamayim, and that it's so obvious, and what the world doesn't know, they don't know. And
That's true.
it's absolutely pathetic. And as
Yeah.
far as Leah's song is stupendous. That's sort of a magnum opus of hers. And what she encapsulated in that song surpasses and bypasses anything that the miscreants in yeshivas and in Catholic school and in any seminary will ever learn. 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's a PhD. That's an intellectual approach to our future. What Dr. Jeff was saying there is that Yashaya was invited to Shamayim. And once he arrived in Shamayim, Yahweh opened the door and showed him there wasn't a single person waiting to come in. Not one. And that was 2,700 years ago. And other than 3 or 4 prophets, there has been no one that has listened to God since. And so Yashaya was despondent, recognizing he had done so much, and so had the other prophets, and so had Moshe, so had Dowd, and there wasn't a single person that he said was waiting to come into Shamayim. And it is then Yashaya who is shown the future, and he declares that there will be this Choter that has the 7 spirits of Yahweh, who is the Nakry that is introduced to us by Moshe in the Torah, that arrives for the benefit of the last generation, the final remnant of Yisrael, and facilitates their reconciliation with God. And he calls him his Zarowa, the one who cultivates his harvest. So it is an exceedingly powerful thing. And then Yashaya introduces Obed Edom as the man from Edom who is returning, who is going to save many. And yet you can't find anybody who is a theologian, any religious individual, a Christian, a Muslim, or a religious Jew who has their job is to study the Torah and the prophets, and not one of them has ever recognized, wait a minute.
Whoa. I know a guy.
It says very clearly in the Torah that Nakry, this title, this observant foreigner, he is going to arrive in the last days, and he is responsible for reconciling the relationship with Israel. He is Israel's savior. You'd think you'd have a few people saying, well, who in the heck is this Nakry? And now that we're only 8 years from year 6,000 damn well better be here.
They're not even asking the question. They're not even asking the question, much less trying
And
to
it's
identify.
again at the most important sermon ever delivered. You've got Solomon at the completion of the home for Yahweh's name, called a temple. And it's on a Taruw'ah, which is the day of the herald. And he is announcing to Yisrael that Nakry, he's coming. And this observant foreigner is not a Yisraelite. He comes from a faraway land at a faraway time. But when he speaks to you and you hear his voice coming out of the heavens, you'd better listen and do as he says, because he is your only and final hope.
It began
And so
on the fourth
you would
day
think
of
somebody would
creation.
say, wait a minute, who is this guy? He's all over Isaiah. He's all over the story of Solomon. He's all over the Torah. Who is this guy? And yet they don't.
They don't have a clue as to who you are.
Yeah. They can't even
They know
ascribe-
the rabbi.
Yeah.
They know their Orthodox synagogue.
Okay.
They know their talit.
They can't
know their
even
Purim.
they cannot even
They don't know you.
they cannot even steal this one for imaginary Jesus.
No.
They can't. So the Choter, they try to steal for imaginary Jesus. I mean, it's got to be the dumbest plot of all time, because it's a stem, it's a sucker, and the stem and sucker has the 7 spirits of Yahweh, and Gospel Jesus never mentioned a Yahweh. He never even mentioned having
Didn't
7
mention
spirits
anything.
of Yahweh. And oh, by the way, he's a Bashar. He is this productive bull. And so, not a prayer in the world. And he comes during the last days. And oh, by the way, his contribution is writing books.
The Nesh, yeah.
He writes the Nesh. Jesus didn't write squat, nothing, not a word.
Yeah.
That's what that Choter does. He writes books.
And he's a foreigner. You can't be king of the Jews if you're a foreigner.
But this is the deal with the Nakry, and it's used as a title. Nakry means observant foreigner, so they can't even steal that one for Jesus. So it's just sitting there. The rabbis can't take it because he's an observant foreigner. They can't steal it for themselves, and the Christians can't steal it. And of course, the Muslims are too dumb to know it even exists. So it's the one that's just hanging there, and it's the same guy that's Obed Edom. Obed Edom is that guy. His responsibility is to bring the Ark of the Covenant back to the tent of the restoring witness on the top of Moriah, and so that it is all prepared, including with the bull's blood, ready to go, so that Dowd, when he returns, can sprinkle the blood of a bull on the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant, and the relationship can be reconciled. That's his job.
The rabbis are missing that essential part, the ark, in their whole drama they're doing with the red calf, the perfect red calf from Texas, and the whole show they want to put on with the
It's like they didn't read.
They got no ark. Yeah.
They didn't read 2 Samuel 6.
No.
They wouldn't read that because they hate 2 Samuel 7 because it says Dowd's my son and I'm his father, and they claim in Judaism that God can't have a son. That would be interspecies, and interspecies is not allowed in Judaism. But it's Obed Edom who resolves the issue of bringing the Ark of the Covenant onto the Temple Mount so that it's ready for Dowd, and Dowd dresses up at the high priest, having a great old party, just saying, God's got a guy to do it. I don't need to do it. I can have fun now. I got a guy. It's a wonderful story, and they miss that story.
Yeah, Craig, it began for you on the 4th day of creation. Yeah. Devarim 29.
29. Oh my goodness.
That's goes back a bit. And how about Medad? Hello.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was writing about that again today. I incorporated it because, as I said, my mission right now is to write a final coming home. It's coming home for Bashar Harold. And so I decided that I would just open it with a paragraph and to say there are 2 purposes of this book. One is to announce, proclaim, affirm, and celebrate the fact that Dowd is the Son of God. He is the Messiah. He is the chosen one. He is the former and returning king who came in his second of 3 lives to fulfill Pesach, Matzah, and Kipurym, making him our Savior. And second, since no one gave him any credit for doing any of these things, that God has chosen a man to work with him, and his name is Yada. And he is Dowd's Bashar Herald. And he, as Obed Edom, will serve as the AdamahParah. And he will restore the relationship between Yahweh and Yisra'el, and he will prepare the adulterous woman who is cheated on God religiously so that she is ready to be betrothed to the Messiah and King Dowd upon his return 10 days later on Kipurym. And that is the story God is telling. And if you look at the number of references to these 2 things, it is the single most prominent and repetitive story in the Torah and prophets. And heretofore, neither of those things had been heralded, had been understood, had been shared, had been explained.
Even discussed.
Yeah, even discussed. That is how amazingly unique what we're doing is. It is literally the last great hope of humankind. If we fail in this mission, and we're not going to because Yahweh has already written in the final chapter, we succeed, and we don't succeed on our own merit. We do succeed because we are devoted, because we work together, because we will never flinch in our responsibility. We are totally committed to Yahweh and to his people. But we also succeed because everyone who succeeds with Yahweh is enabled by Yahweh. They are positioned by Yahweh. They are enabled by Yahweh, and we are. And the thing that becomes so abundantly clear, and it's made so clear in Numbers 11, is that this job cannot be done alone. It can't even be done by God alone.
Mm-hmm.
The job of reconciling the relationship between Israel and Yahweh is so difficult because of the attitude of Israel and their stubbornness and their propensity to be religious and political. That Yahweh, when he engaged directly, failed miserably. That's hard to say. I mean, every time I say it, I get the jitters. But the fact of the matter is, it's true. And God told us the story because it is true. And I think God even wanted it to be true.
True.
That he spoke to the children of Yisrael, giving them 3 days to get their act together and prepare to get their best little clothes on, to get all cleaned up, to get all mentally in the right frame of mind to hear this. And all he wanted to say is, I'm God. I'm come down from the top of the mountain up there. And I'm the one who is sharing this Torah message with Moshe. I chose him. I'm speaking through him to you. When he opens his mouth and he speaks to you, he's speaking for me. And I'm going to take you from being slaves there in Mitzrayim, and I'm going to bring you all the way. We have Wookiee celebrating his new toy. I'm going to bring you into the promised land. That was the message he wanted to deliver. I don't think he got 5 words into it before the children of Yisrael said, go away. Your light scares us to death. Your voice scares us to death. If you stay, we just are going to die here. Go away. Shut up. Never come back. Don't ever speak to us again. So I would classify that as a failure. And I don't like to say that God failed but
He was rejected just like.
But it's just, I don't know how else you would define it. And I think God shared the story because he wants us to recognize it that way, because this job is impossible for one person to do it alone, even if that one person is God.
Yeah.
That's the job that Yahweh has asked us to do, fellas. And then Yahweh empowers and enables Moshe to continue this job. God says, listen, I get it. It's better this way. I'm happy with that outcome that you've rejected me. And therefore, we're going to do it through men. I'm going to speak through men. And so it was back on Moshe's shoulders. And it didn't last 3 days. Even before Moshe had a meltdown, he gave up. He told God, this job is impossible. One man cannot do it alone. And now God was right beside him. And he still said, I can't do this job. And as a matter of fact, he cursed at God. He says, how dare you call me to do this job? Why would you treat me that way? Do you really hate me? I mean,
I can relate with Moshe, honest to God. I'm sorry, but yeah, I can. Have you ever been in a room full of Jews?
Yeah. Do you hate me? Why would you do this? This job cannot be done. It's absolutely miserable. It's impossible. If you have any concern for me whatsoever,
Kill me now.
You're going to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather die than continue to endure this. Please kill me. So you'd have to say at that point, God plus Moshe wasn't enough to get it done.
Didn't go well.
God did not disagree with him. He didn't say, hey, they're redeemable. He didn't say, it's not all that bad, because God had already burned up everything around the camp. He was so upset with him.
Not that bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that didn't happen either. And God didn't console Moshe and say, hey, man, suck it up, pal. It'll be okay. You can do this. You got it. No, he didn't give him the pep talk. But he told Moshe, he said, listen, I want you to call 70 of the most mature individuals of all of the community of Yisrael. You pull them all together. I'm going to take the spirit that I have given you and I'm going to share it among the 70. And they're not going to say anything that's going to have any value to anybody. All they're going to do is be a buffer between you and the antagonists, your own people, this fractured family. So I'll provide a buffer for you with those 70 people. They're not going to be of any value other than that. And by the way, they failed at that. And then God let Moshe know, I got a couple of guys. You just get them to the promised land. I'll take it from there. I've got a couple of guys. I understand it takes more than one man to get this done, even when I'm standing right beside you. The next one will be Dowd, God's beloved. Dowd. And they didn't get it done. They did some marvelous things. They protected Israel 66 times. They captured Jerusalem, acquired the Temple Mount, resolved the great fall that was precipitated by Shaul and his popularity when he was everything but consistent with the Torah and became demon-possessed. But Dowd gave up too. The last straw for him was the Absalom rebellion. Tore his heart out. Internal fractures, family fractures. Tore his heart out. He was a major contributor, though. And Dowd pulled through in the end because he volunteered to be crucified by the Romans to fulfill Passover. And he wrote about the pain he would endure 1,000 years before he endured it. That takes some courage, man. That's Gibowr Eight. And then he did the most amazing thing of all. He volunteered to carry our guilt and take it into hell, Sheol, and endure that for us. You don't get to be, there is no bigger man that's ever lived. Those are broad shoulders, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, as the Bekor of YAHOWAH, firstborn son of YAHOWAH, he enabled Bikurim, firstborn children for the rest of us. Doesn't get any better than that. But no one knew it. Not a single person acknowledged it. 2,000 years after the fact, total silence. Not a single person knew. And that was the job that was being announced in the fourth day of creation. There would be a lesser luminary who would reflect the greater luminary's brilliance in the time of darkness. But YAHOWAH would say so much more. And that's why Nakry is introduced in the 29th chapter of Devarim. But that fella's also there, as you said, Dr. Jeff, in the 11th chapter of Bamidbar, Numbers in the Wilderness. Because Dowd was not alone with the spirit of YAHOWAH as a prophet. In that same sentence, there was another fellow. His name was Dowd, which means the beloved friend of Dowd. God had a couple of fellows. And so even in this, God is saying, I'm going to give this man my 7 spirits, including the very spirit of YAHOWAH. So you are listening to the voice of the very spirit of YAHOWAH on these programs. And I'm going to give him the spirit of wisdom, intelligence, of bien, understanding. I'm going to give him the spirit of Gibowr. So he'll be as confident and courageous and as resilient as a man can be. I'm going to give him the spirit of Esther. He's going to be the first person ever in all of human history to put the whole story together from beginning to end, to tell you how it all fits together, and then explain it to you. I'm going to give him the spirit of Dowd, knowledge, because he is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that brings you right back to the tree of lives, which is Dowd. And most importantly, I'm going to bring the spirit of YadaYahowah, of coming to love and respect Yahweh. That is what is said by Dowd in his mashal, by Isaiah in the 11th chapter. And yet everyone reads right past it and doesn't think anything of it. But by the time God has said all of these things, and he mentions this fellow that's going to support his beloved son and restore his name, Yahweh, so it's known to his people, and reacquaint them with Dowd's achievements and accolades, that they will be ready. The harvest will happen. So with all of that, Rich, would you mind replaying Leah's song now that we have a marvelous introduction and explanation of it? The second time, I bet we'll all enjoy it all the more.
You want to comment why it's playing?
No. Nope.
Okay, we're going to play.
Hear, 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 oh, you kings and princes, even I will sing unto YAHOWAH. Even I will sing his tenderness towards Yisrael. Memories flood like the river Yarden of laughter and tears. In the warmth of Yah's home, I faced all my fears. Oh, the man of Edom, Yada, walks the earth, bringing reconciliation and rebirth. In Yahweh's name we find light. In the darkness the man of Edom ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand, take Yah's promise in your hand. Speak softly to her, the potential bride. Walking in your word, we rise from the wilderness. Nations brought her low, and yet Yom Kipurym is filled with ambition. In this Nakry blood is drawn. Oh, be still my soul, the man of Edom walks the earth, bringing hope and rebirth. In the shadows we find the voice of light. In the Nakry he ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand, take Yah's promise in your hand. Prepare the feast, let the heifer fall for us all on Yom Kippur. In the eyes of the children, you see the war is won. Kiss the king, don't let him frown. Time to lay our burdens down. Oh, my soul, the man of Edom walks the earth, bringing hope and rebirth. In Yahweh's name we find light. In the darkness of that day, he ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand, take Yah's promise in your hand. Now wash your clothes, let the ashes and water blend. His love knows no end. The harlot stands cleansed, ready to wed. The man of Edom as her Zikaron.
The two things that, among many, that I missed in my introduction of that song this time, is that the song was written by Leah. And it's not just by Leah, my wife, sitting there with the rainbow behind her on the lovely white leather chair. Leah is the mother of Yehudah. And as the mother of Yehudah in the story, she plays an exceedingly important role in bringing us Yisra'el. That's part of the fact that it's Leah singing the song. She's speaking of Leah, the wife of Jacob, the mother of Yehudah. The second thing that I didn't share is that the ashes and the water in the end are the result of the sacrifice of that red bull, the AdamahParah. It'll be Eliah that'll be orchestrating the event. It'll be Yahweh that'll ignite the flames. It's Yahweh that releases the water beneath the Temple Mount. But it is those waters that cleanses the religiosity of Israel so that they're prepared for Yahweh's return. And by cleaning what is now using Numbers 19 in the AdamahParah to purge the guilt of the adulterous woman in Numbers 5. She has a belly that will swell one way or the other. If she is unfit to enter the millennial celebration of Sukah, as we are invited back to the conditions that were experienced in Eden. We're going back to Eden, folks. Then her body will swell and she will be disallowed. It's a test. Those waters will either purge or they will condemn. But if she is purged, her belly will swell again. Israel will be fruitful and productive again. And so she is Dowd's bride in the end. So there was even more to that song that wasn't conveyed. There was one very small point that I would correct, which is the AdamahParah, this red heifer, offers his life for Yisrael on Taruw'ah. Mm-hmm. It is for the benefit of Dowd's return on Kipurym. And this enables our return to Garden of Eden conditions on Sukah. So it is the comprehensive fulfillment of Chag Sukah, which is the final celebration in year 6,000 Yah. Dowd fulfilled the first three Nakry, which are Chag Matzah, Pesach, Matzah, and Bikurim. And it is Yadah's responsibility to oversee the fulfillment of Chag Sukah, which is Taruw'ah, Kipurym, and Sukah. And while he is the sacrifice for Taruw'ah, he's also the Zarowa harvesting the gleaning that will occur the Friday evening of Taruw'ah, the 23rd of September. He's best man for Dowd at the wedding. He prepares Dowd's bride, and he enables Yahweh to return, reconciled to his family, and he presents the Ark of the Covenant for Dowd to anoint, as is required by the Torah, on Kipurym.
If I may.
And then he is the man who literally opens the door and serves as the guide and the teacher, going through the first 8 days, representing 8 years of our return to the garden in Sukah. So it is a comprehensive responsibility. It's not that he is in charge. He isn't. Dowd's in charge. And Yahweh has fully delegated the responsibilities to his beloved son, Dowd. But as Dowd figured out in 2 Samuel 6, as it's reported to us, it's really good to have a friend. And Obed-Edom was his friend. Yes, Leah?
If I may, it's not just the best man. Yada is the facilitator. Mm-hmm. In so much as the way I see it, he is her dowry.
Well, yeah, Yahweh uses the term best man to describe the role he's going to play on behalf of Dowd during this wedding. So I'm gonna go with that. But the thing that is so interesting, and we saw this presented in the 33rd Mizmor or song, which is that Dowd wrote about the work of this man, that he, as the goy, it's a title, Hagoy, this goy, whose God is Yahweh, and I am the first and only one to fulfill that mandate. The goy, whose God is Yahweh, whose mission is to reconcile their relationship and to show the way to the benefits of the relationship, conveyed through Asher twice. It says of him that his inheritance is the covenant family. So I'm in a position where the children of the covenant, because of the work that we're doing together, are mine. So I'm going to keep them for all of a nanosecond, and I'm going to say, King,
Yours now.
they're yours. This is my wedding gift to you. And I expect you are probably going to pass on almost all of them to Yahweh. You may keep a few of us for yourself. There's work to do, and I'm sure there's really going to be some pretty pretties amongst that group. And we know your past, and you get to pick your bride. But I think that most of these you're going to pass right on to Yahweh. But that's what it says, that my gift to our King is the covenant family. I actually do receive something for doing all of this, and that is the covenant family. And by the way, I know these people. Now the ones that I know really, really well, I'm going to keep, because we have a job to do. We're going to get the first 8 years, man. We are teacher on duty. And so we got a job to do. But, I've studied the rest of them, and I've kind of heard rumors of some of their prior behavior. They're going to be on their best behavior at this point. They're going to be starting afresh, but I'm very happy to get them to Dowd. Yeah, they're your style. I'll help out as I can. But
okay, so we
Happy
have the gifts and all of that's there, but throughout ancient culture and up until modernly, I think until Victorian times, there was always a bride price. I think the Zikaron is the bride price.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not going to go there. No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, if God didn't say it, I'm not buying it. And I don't realize where God said it. So we're
Feels too cultural.
They're a gift, and if there's going to be a cultural expression, we'll deal with that. But I'm going to be really stiff on this one. God has delineated a very clear message, and there's no wavering from it. And I made a commitment a long time ago that I would go to where his words led. Now, I had no idea they would lead to this place. I thought we're going to work anonymously together, and that would be just fine. That was not what he intended. And he has upped the ante all the way along. It's like he's saying, hey, man, I've known you for a very long time. I wrote about you a billion years or so ago. So, I'm pretty aware of who you are. And at this point, I'm convinced that you can handle this. So we're going to continue to up the ante, and you're not going to buckle. In fact, I'm making certain that you're prepared for every step of the way. So, and so while the words led to places I did not think they would lead, and to places that are exceedingly unpopular.
Oh, yeah.
I do love the place where they have led.
Yes.
And do I love the idea of the sacrifice? Actually, yes, I do. And I love the reason. I love the sacrifice for the same reason that Dowd chose it, which is you give up. In his case, it was a little over 24 hours. It would have been right around 30 hours. You give up 30 hours of sheer agony for an eternity of respect. I think that's worth it. You give up 30 hours of agony for to get an attaboy from God where he says, I really appreciate what you did. You give up 30 hours of agony for you get to look at every member of the covenant family forever and know they're there because you did this. Pretty awesome thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, I'm delighted to offer this sacrifice. If God had asked, as opposed to just written the story this way, I would have volunteered, and maybe I did in a way. Maybe it's the same way that Dowd volunteered. Dowd volunteered to serve as the Passover lamb because, he read the opening chapter of Bereshith. He knew all about the greater and lesser luminaries and them serving as the sign of the Mow'ed. He knew what the Mow'ed were. Pesach, Matzah, and Bakodim is how they began. He read the story of Abraham and Yishak climbing Mount Moriah, and of Yishak saying, "Where's the lamb?" And Abraham saying, "God will provide the lamb." And then they get to the summit, and they go all the way to the natural progressions of things on the summit of Mount Moriah in year 2000, 1968 BCE. And Yahweh calls out Abraham, "Don't take the life of your son, your only son, the son whom you love. I'll provide the lamb." Yahweh has an only son at that point. And that means that Dowd was God's son long before Dowd was born.
Yeah.
And Dowd's name means beloved. And Dowd read that, and he says, "That's me, isn't it?" And then he listened to what Nathan had told him based upon what Yahweh had offered when Dowd said, "I want to build a house of cedar for Yahweh." And Yahweh said, no, that's not the way this works. You don't build a house for me, I build a house for you. And I'm going to establish your throne forever because you are my son and I am your father. And immediately Dowd would have figured it out. He would have known, that's me. I'm going to fulfill Passover. And I'm going to fulfill Passover in year 4,000 because it's the fourth day of creation. And so he wrote the first 30 of them, in first and second person volition, saying, "I have chosen to do this and you agree with me. We're going to fulfill this. We're going to save Yisrael." So clearly he figured it out and said, "We're going to do this together." That's not really much different than, I guess, what I did. I came to this the first time. Leah knows because we were sitting in my study together. And I was going back through Yeshua 17 that is just so powerful for us because Yeshua 17 speaks of the fulfillment of Shabuah as a harvest and of Taruw'ah as the gleaning. And in the midst of the Taruw'ah presentation, Yeshua speaks of a Parah. A Parah is a productive bull. And immediately the two of us looked at each other and said, "Oh my."
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
We are that bull.
That's the story of Numbers 19, isn't it? The story that no one has ever been able to figure out. Who in the world is the AdamahParah, the red heifer of
I looked him dead in the face and
Numbers,
said, "Are you the red
19.
heifer?"
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. It was-
And so we went back and we translated that, and yes, indeed. And then became the first to explain Numbers 5, which no one had ever understood. Who is this adulterous woman of religious guilt? Who is the groom that wants her back? It's Dowd. The date is she's prepared on Taruw'ah, and the priest that performs all of this is Eliah. And what did Eliah do 2,888 years prior to this? He excoriated religious and political guilt in Israel against the Lord and the mother God cult through the sacrifice of a bull, adding copious amounts of water, and Yahweh ignited the flames.
Yeah.
It's exactly what's going to happen on Taruw'ah. Yahweh's going to ignite the flames. He's going to provide the water this time, and Eliah's going to do the narration. And all of a sudden, now Isaiah 17 about the fulfillment of Shabbat, and then Taruw'ah. Numbers 19, Numbers 5. They're all explained. And then you read Numbers 15, and it talks about the sacrifices of the ram, Dowd, the bull, Yada, and the goat, Eliah. And you read through this and you say, the story has been there, explained for 3,470 years. And so I don't know if there's much difference in reading, just as Dowd did, reading about the role that you're called to play and saying, yes, I want to do this. And God, you agree with it. And I guess what I did, because I read about what was written in the Torah and in the prophets and said, yeah, obviously that's me. I'll do it. I'm happy to do it. In fact, I'd like to do it.
That's
You
exactly.
obviously want me to do it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how it went down. Dowd at 8 years old did not realize he's going to be a Passover lamb. Yeah.
But Yahweh did the same thing with Moshe, Dowd, and myself. When Yahweh told Moshe, we're going to go into Mitzrayim and we're going to free the children of Yisrael. We're going to do this together. And Moshe said, not with me, pal.
No, thanks.
You've got the wrong guy. Been there, done that, not going back. And those people, by the way, they're obnoxious. I tried saving them once before. It didn't turn out well. Nope, not going to happen with me.
Yeah, they probably gave him so much anxiety, he mumbled to death.
Yeah. So what did God
Imagine.
say? Hey, pal, kid, come on. Who do you think invented the mouth? Don't you think perhaps I would know how to operate one?
Yeah.
Okay, Moshe said that pretty much dumped the stars on that one. Don't debate with God. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So here's Yahweh. He says, I want you to go down and pick that kid out of Bethlehem. That's the one I want. I don't want any of these other sons. I want that kid down in Bethlehem. I've chosen him. I chose him for reasons that you will never understand.
Yeah.
And, well, not never understand, but you don't understand at this time. We do now understand. And that means that Yahweh had a relationship with Dowd back there maybe 1 billion years ago, too.
Mhm.
He knew all about him, knew exactly what he was all about, knew that he would be bright enough to see that he's in the story. He didn't write himself into the story. God did. He saw it. And he accepted it. And Yahweh knew he would. But clearly, at 8 years old, Dowd was just amazed. Okay, I'm being anointed by the great Shamuel.
Yeah.
And at Yahweh's instructions, this is going to be cool. And the next thing we're going to go do is we're going to go topple a giant.
Mhm.
You foul-mouthed, uncircumcised Philistine.
Mhm.
And there it goes. But did God tell him at 8 years old, oh, by the way, you are going to go up against that Philistine, and he is, 50% taller than anybody else, and you're going to take him down with a single stone, kid. The armor won't even. You'll try it on, you'll take it off. It won't even fit you. You'll be too small, too young by that time. And then the people, as you already know, they've chosen Saul, and he's a basket case, and he's going to hate you. He's going to be jealous of you. He's going to try to kill you. So it's going to be really tough there for a while. And your best friend, the man that you care about more than anything else, he's going to get killed. You think God had told him all that right at the beginning? He would have said, oh, sure, this sounds like a great deal. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Now, oh, and by the way, when you finally become king, you're going to have to fight 66 battles. 66 of them. I don't think any king has ever survived more than 5 or 6 in a row, but you're going to fight 66 of them. Oh, by the way, you'll win them all. That part's pretty good. You're going to make some really tragic mistakes. You're going to be really embarrassed and sad by them. You're going to learn on the job. And ultimately, your wife's going to turn on you. But you've got the greatest one-liner in the history of one-liners. So that's going to work out just fine for you. Don't worry about it. Sweat that one. But ultimately, your son is going to lead an insurrection against you. And it's going to be really nasty about it. And but yeah, don't sweat the details. That part about the Passover lamb thing, we'll work that out later, maybe after a few years of being together. But yeah, you're going to be crucified. You don't know what crucifixion is right now, but you're going to know a lot about it before very long. It's not a fun thing. By the way, Dowd, I'm going to send your. Well, actually, you're going to volunteer. You're going to go to hell. How do you like the job so far? What a sales pitch. How do you like the job so far?
Same thing Mosi said. I want to go back to my sheep.
Sign me up.
Thank you very much. My and bears sound better than that. Guys, it's not a whole lot different than well, I'm overlooking the ocean one day. I'm minding my own business, and God comes up and says, hey, kid, I want you to do something for me. Yeah, right. Yeah. I want you to expose and condemn Islam. So who is this really? You obviously know who this is, or you wouldn't be having this conversation with me. You'd be crazy now, wouldn't you? Yeah, okay, well, and I would be crazy to expose and condemn Islam because thus far I don't think anyone's ever survived that.
Yet.
So I guess you got the right guy. I must be crazy.
Yeah.
He said, so I want you to do this for me. Okay, so can we negotiate some? Oh, yeah, sure. We've been through this. We actually went through this about 1 billion years ago. But just for giggles, what do you want, kid?
Here's how you forgot.
Yeah, here's the 3 things I want. Great, kid. Reach into your pocket. Read it. Oh, you've agreed to all 3. Yeah. And by the way, the king that you're going to serve, he wrote this for me.
Yeah.
It's the 91st Mizmor.
Yeah.
But that was it. Other than, okay, we have a deal. Let's go. You think if he were to say, oh, by the way, this deal is going to consume 100,000 hours thus far. You're going to write 40 books. You're not going to charge a dime for them. Oh, by the way, you're going to be hated.
You're going to work 80-hour weeks.
Yeah, you're going to work 80-hour weeks and some 90-hour weeks for 32 years. Everything that you thought was a hobby. Nope. You like flying airplanes? Go by. You like captaining boats? It's a nice boat, but nope.
Our diving equipment is rotting.
Yeah, kid, we got some work to do. Now, lovely digs. Have a beautiful wife, wonderful support and friends, and I'm happier without those things. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think if he had just laid it all on the line and, oh, by the way, you're going to get brutalized on Taruw'ah. It's going to be a really gruesome scene.
Yeah, you're going to have a Motherite cult slander you.
Oh, by the way, if you don't do this, then the next 4 Mow'ed Nakry are not going to be fulfilled. And I'm not coming back. And I'm going to destroy the earth.
Yeah.
No pressure or anything.
None at all. Oh.
But that's basically it, right? I mean, that's the story.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family, kid.
Well, that's why you have to be a chazak. You have to be a chazak from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet.
You do. Chazak means firm, bold, harsh, tough as nails is what it basically means. Uncompromising, resilient.
Well, if you want to be a Hebrew son, you're going to put a little skin in the game, eh?
Oh, well, yeah. A little skin. My wife says a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
A little skin in the game.
Let me give you a shout out, Leah. That song was pretty stupendous. I called it a magnum opus, and there's a reason why Dowd makes mention of you in his 14th mashal.
Yes.
Hello?
Yep, he does. He begins the 14th mashal by contrasting Leah against the woman who has tried to destroy her life. She speaks of Leah as the intelligent woman. She's chokmah, and she speaks of this mother goddess that God just despises, that is evil and attempting to tear the house down. And that is how he introduces the Choter for the first time. And it's Dowd who writes it, of course. So our king knows her.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So it's an amazing story, and I'm delighted to be able to tell it. I thought it would be fun to introduce it with that song. I knew the song was wonderful. I had not fully recognized just how much the song is cerebral. That song does require a PhD in
Towrah, yeah.
in Towrah and in YAHOWah, but that's okay. That's our job. If you want to join us and have a PhD in all things YAHOWah, there are 35 of these that are offered in their entirety free at YadaYah.com.
Read them.
I think, how about this? You just have to YadaYah.
You just have to YadaYah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple.
If you YadaYah, that gets you at least in the right place. That means to know YAHOWah.
I said YadaYah. No Yada.
Oh,
And then
well,
YadaYahowah.
well, yeah. Well, Yada. Originally, I wrote that as Yada, and said that he is an anonymous player, and the story is not about him. It's about YAHOWah, and his job is simply to introduce you to YAHOWah. Well, that didn't turn out to be completely true. It's true. His job is to introduce God's people back to YAHOWah. But he is not an anonymous player in this story. That is for darn sure. He plays... I don't know if you want to say it's the second most important role or the third most important role, but it's right up there in second and third. I'm not sure that it matters in terms of the order of events, considering that number one is in a league of his own. That would be Dowd,
Right.
and the rest of us are in support, but no one would even know that.
Well, yeah.
Without the work
Leah
we've
was
done
right
together.
when she said, use the term facilitator. It's sort of like an equation in simplistic terms is yada yada to YadaYahowah. And
Yes.
I don't know how you can get around that.
Are you the star of the third act?
Yeah, it's
good plays.
I don't think, just as I am positive that there is no salvation without knowing Dowd and what he has accomplished.
True.
I'm not sure at this point there is knowing Dowd without knowing Yada's role in bringing attention to what Dowd achieved. And so I think the reason that YAHOWah went so far as to announce them in the opening chapter of the Torah, and then introducing them in Numbers, and then concluding Devarim, Deuteronomy, with the story of Nakry, is because you need to know the observant foreigner if you're going to be reconciled as part of this relationship and enter the millennial celebration of Sukah. I think these things are definitely related. So I think you're onto something. I don't think I'm comfortable saying what you just said, but I certainly see the merit of it, that God didn't go out of his way to tell all of this story this way for us to not know the players.
I feel comfortable because, and I'll use your own methodology. It's where the words have taken us. It's where the words have gone. If you divorce everything else from it, that's where the words lead us.
Because God wants to lead us back to his beloved Son.
Yeah.
And YAHOWah is actually more intent on leading us back to his Son as our Savior, as our King, than he is in leading us back to himself.
I understand.
Yeah. Because if you know the Son, you know Yah.
Mm-hmm.
When Yahweh used a term that is one that I'm still trying to grapple with. It's Elyon. El, of course, is Almighty God. On in Hebrew, like Shabbaton, it means all things pertaining to. Anytime you see like Zacharon means all things pertaining to the most memorable of men. Shabbaton is all things pertaining to the Shabbat. And Elyon would be all things pertaining to, El with a Yod added to it. And Yahweh says that Dowd is Elyon. Now, I know that almost all translations say that Elyon means Almighty God, but Dowd is not Almighty God.
Mm-mm.
He's God's beloved son. He's our Messiah. He's our King. Dowd is a man. Now, he is a man empowered and enriched and chosen by God, but he's a man.
Mhm.
And so God is calling a man, only one man, Elyon. And so the whole thing has to pivot around the one letter that isn't explained by El and On. And that's a Yod. A Yod is the first letter in Yahweh's name. It is depicted in Paleo Hebrew how?
It's for lifting up, reaching down to lift up with an open hand.
It's like a father with a child, isn't it? Father's arm with a
Lift up.
child would come down and then out with an open hand to grasp a child's hand to lift them up.
Or under their
And-
little arms.
Yeah, and so the Yod was drawn as the very hand of God reaching out, down and out to us with an open hand to grasp our hand to lift us up. The Yod in Hebrew means hand. It's drawn as a hand, and it speaks of influence. And so Dowd is presented throughout the 89th Mizmor as the right hand of God.
That's true.
And his Zarowa, the one who is assisting him, is presented as the right hand of Dowd.
His right hand. Yeah.
And so when we recognize that Yod means hand, and it speaks of influence, the things that you do, and Elyon means all things pertaining to God, the addition of the Yod means that he is all things pertaining to the hand of God. He is all things pertaining to the influence of God. In other words, God is going to manage, if you will, this 1,000-year celebration of Sukah on earth as we return to Eden, and then the forever time after that as we explore the entire universe and have access to Shamayim through and with his beloved son Dowd. That's why Dowd has this throne, a seat of honor that's as brilliant as the sun. Is that Dowd is the influence of God in our presence. That's what Elyon actually means. And Dowd is the only person who is Elyon.
He's El Elyon. You're one step removed from that, but you are functioning now as Yah's Kol.
You know, I think that I'm going to get what I want. And yeah, I was attentive to what we want. I want to go back to being essentially retired and anonymous. I've enjoyed
Me too.
I've enjoyed this mission a lot. But you know, I'd like some quiet time with my wife and a little exploration time, and I'd like to have a Shabbat.
I'd like to go back yachting.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yes.
go back yachting. I
Our
enjoy.
diving equipment's rotting.
Oh God, I love living on board the boat.
Oh yeah, me too.
I love flying my airplane.
Yeah.
I would like to. I really would. I would like to have that opportunity. And so, as I read this story, how long was Moshe employed by God?
40 years.
40.
That's correct. How many years was Dowd king of Yisrael?
40.
If you subtract 2033 from 2001, how long will I have been deployed by God?
32.
How many days? How many days is the celebration of Sukah?
8.
8.
And And what is the difference between 32 and
That would be 40.
and 40?
I have to take off my shoes.
8.
Ocho.
And so I think that the first 8 years, 8 years, when 40 would require hands and toes, wouldn't it? And hands and toes, if we want to be exact here. I like to be precise. Or we could just count everybody's hands and toes up and down the row over there, and we would have it. But please don't show your toes.
Yes.
That would be 40, wouldn't it? If we get 8 years into Sukah, matching the 8 days of Sukah, would it not? And what is our job?
Yes.
There won't be anyone, not a single soul allowed into this celebration of Sukah, the return to the garden, that will be any more mature than 5 days old.
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah, you could say, some ways you could say 15, and they're purged of their religiosity, and we might get a head start on them on Taruw'ah. And so they've got 10 days to get their act together but that's really our focus then is on the wedding and the return. And then, but in Sukah, with the return to Eden on the 7th of October, 2033, which by the way is a full eclipse of the moon. I'm delighted to be eclipsed on that day. I'm eclipsed, of course, by Dowd, who's the sun at this point. I think we have 8 full years of dedicated service as teachers. And I think God is saying 40 years is all I'm going to ask of any of my coworkers. We'll just be friends and family after that. And you can have the long Shabbat you have longed for, but I want 8 years more. So fellas and lady, when you signed up for this, and Rich over there quietly behind the scenes without the light on him, now he has to sit up, and he might even turn on the camera on himself. We have another 8 years. We have 8 years to go before we return to Eden, and we have 8 years to go as a full-fledged team to educate the babes that will be part of forevermore. And it's more than just the final remnant of Yisrael. It's also the Goyim who have been chosen in that dappled chariot that have the right attitude and aptitude to serve during the millennial Shabbat. They're going to have an opportunity. It wouldn't be fair for them to have been brought in without an opportunity.
Sure.
And so our job will be to teach them. And I think it's going to be very much like we're doing now. I think this is how we're going to continue to create a library. And I think by the time that we run up to that date, we're going to have a marvelous library, both of books and of these programs.
And better special effects. We're going to have a lot better special effects.
Kevin, I've now done this almost a year now. We started sometime in December. So, maybe we'll call it 10 months right now. And I've done a lot of shows where I thought that, boy, we really laid it all out. That was a marvelous experience. The most fun by far was the one we did together on the vlog of the blog. So the vlog of the blog was such a fun format. You're completely unscripted. You got two fellows talking about the day's events, and each image is a story. And you can do so much more with each of those posts, because what we did is we went through a blog. A blog is my feed on Facebook is the one we used. And so these are the things that were in my feed on Facebook or that I saw in the news that I thought would be interesting. And I made a brief comment on it because I realized in the blogosphere, if you get back past about 10 words, you've lost people.
Right.
And so the reason we're talking to people now is because people don't read so much. I mean, I would do everything I could to encourage you to read. This is really, really powerful. Please read this. It's so much more powerful than listening to us. But I realize that I can't encourage people to do what they don't want to do. And I also realize that as much as I've worked over the past 24 years to constantly update those books with everything we've learned, we're so far beyond the books now
Yeah.
that
We're off
to
script.
update these books now, it would take me 10 years just to go back to write those books with everything we've learned. And I would learn so much in doing that I'd have to go back and rewrite them all again once we did that. That's
Yeah.
why this program is just so spectacular that we can just be current and cutting edge right now with the latest and greatest that can be known about Yahowah.
It evolves so much faster. Absolutely. Yeah.
It absolutely does. But that program of just Wayne, I don't know. I don't have, I have on X in this period of time, this 10 months, I have made just shy of 30,000 posts. And I've probably made an equivalent number on Facebook. Let's just call it 50,000 posts. So I will tell you for certain, well, I remember many, many of those posts. Got a pretty good memory on for these things. I have no idea what you're going to pull up next. And so you're just going down the feed and there it is. So, yeah, I want to talk about that. And it was really fun. And it's not just fun because you get to talk about current events. It brings us back to that syndicated radio show that I had called Shattering Myths. But you're good at this too. Kevin, you really are. You're good at it.
I can
Yeah,
scroll.
yeah. You just said
Yeah.
any idiot can scroll. The last time I said that, I had a mutiny. Well, hopefully you'll see the humor in it.
There you go.
I
Oh,
get
that's
it.
right.
I get it.
That's right.
That was very good.
I was actually trying to give you a compliment before you bailed on me, and that is that you're really well read and well spoken. So we could speak of, for example, the Northern Lights, and you could talk about how the solar flare was literally trying to devour a certain part of the Earth's atmosphere.
Right.
It's not many people that are going to be versed in so many different subjects and are going to keep pace on something that's spontaneous and be able to add to it. And I thought the interplay between the two of us was just great. I mean,
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
have Kevin there and you're scrolling down and we're talking about these things. It was easily the most fun. And every day there's so many events, and we could do one every day, and maybe we'll get to an everyday pace. I think right now we'll try twice a week. We'll find out what your schedule holds, and maybe we'll do one tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe maybe our deal is that for a while we'll take the Shabbat off and do. We don't take it off. I mean, it just means that it's a quiet day where I spend all day translating and writing. As opposed to doing the vlog, and we may do it on Sunday. But we'll have to figure out what your schedule is. But I'd like to get one done on Sunday, and then we'll do another one on Wednesday, and maybe Wednesday and Sunday will be kind of our pace until we pick back up and do more of these. I need this particular series I want to proceed with because it gets to what we're going to begin right now, which is the 35th Psalm, which is
Gibowr is important. Absolutely.
Let me just say, Craig, that I must acknowledge that the blog debut out of the gates was unusually smooth. It really flowed. I was impressed with how smooth it went. So kudos to both Kevin and you.
Well, Rich too. That he was driving also.
Rich also.
All smoke and mirrors.
Hey, do you know how much preparation time we had from the moment I came up with the idea? I said, I think it would be fun to do something no one's ever done before. Let's do a vlog on the blog. And the first thing I was asked is, we had just finished a broadcast here in the library studio, and we had an issue with the with StreamYard, because StreamYard did an update and it was becoming very difficult to get all the pieces back working with StreamYard. And so Kevin and Rich are on the phone trying to figure out how to tame StreamYard again with all these changes they made. And so I just said, here, I've got an idea. We've talked about doing a new show, but why don't we do something no one's ever done before? Let's do a vlog on a blog. And you said, say what? I said, this is what I want you to do. Go down my Facebook or my X feed. Facebook is probably safer because X is pretty raunchy. I mean, X is a tough environment. A lot of really nasty stuff is said on X. Let's do Facebook. I can control it a little better because I block anybody that's irritable on Facebook or that's religious. Let's go down Facebook and we'll do a vlog on a blog. And you said, oh, okay, I can do that. And would you have about 2 hours to prepare?
Right.
That was about it, right? I said, I think, and he said, I'd be back in an hour and we'll do this. You said, oh, maybe 2. And that's what we did. So it was spontaneous and it was fun. It was scandalous. It was. We even had Leah there. I don't know if
she made a nice appearance, and just
she
remember
did.
that a diamond is. A diamond is just a coal under some pressure. Hey, there you go, Rich.
Yeah, it's Captain Kirk up there painted my favorite picture of Leah because just a marvelous moment, and I sent him. Oh, this goes back months ago. You actually called me and said, I want to do this, and he said, so do you have a picture that you would like? And I think it was originally you want to do, Wookiee is the star of the show. You want to do Wookiee. I said, nah, Wookiee gets too much attention. If you're volunteering to do this, if you wanted to volunteer to do this, then I want it to be of Leah. Can you do that?
Till I saw the jury, then I went, well,
yeah. And then he said, oh, send me a picture. I sent you the picture. And it's yeah. And I don't know where the picture was sitting there in that chair.
It's in your room.
Oh,
Yeah, I needed to sit in the chair, obviously.
Okay. I would have loved to Leah holding. I would have loved to see Leah holding the picture.
Oh my God.
It's gorgeous,
beautiful,
right?
Though.
I mean, it is
very beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Thank
like
you,
when I look at that picture, and I'm reminded of my conversation with YAHOWAH a couple of years ago, where I said, YAHOWAH, I don't want to have to do Prophet of Doom and turn it into goddamn religion. I know it needs to be retitled. I know it needs to be rewritten, but oh God, that is really miserable. I don't want to have to go back into the Quran. I mean, Muhammad was a creep. No, let's not do this. And he says,
he won.
I have taken care of you. Now you take care of my people. And I look at that picture of Leah and this beautiful place that we live here, and I said, okay, that's pretty tough to argue with. And I've kind of gotten to the point where I said, I don't think I want to debate you. I won this one. We'll go with it. That picture is kind of a friendly reminder to me. Yeah, I've done a pretty nice job on the I'll take care of you. So here we are. Oh my, reminiscing because just think we've been doing this now. Yeah, there we go. There is the picture.
Oh boy.
Yeah. She was dressed to kill that night. I'll tell you that for sure.
It's the Yowza picture.
It is a Yowza picture. That is, when YAHOWAH created Chawah. Now, I don't want to compare Chawah to Leah because Leah's
Not in the same league.
It's infinitely better than Chawah.
Stop it.
But when Adam was first saw Chawah, he said Yowza. That's I like that. That's really good.
Every time you men see a naked woman, you say Yowza.
Yowza.
You
Well,
still
that's
do
true.
it till this day.
Yeah. So there's
I'm
that
trying to
was
get
my
my breath. I'm too old.
Yeah.
Look,
Whew, that was my Yowza moment. I'm glad that your wife Sylvia had met Leah, so that she knew that when you were drawing this painting this picture, that it wasn't of a girlfriend. It was of somebody's a friend's wife.
Mhm.
And that was the result. By the way, your wife said that she would like one of those robots, that's fancy ones coming out of China, to be a dog walker.
Oh, me too.
And I went and
Yeah,
said,
I would too.
I said, Sylvia, you have the world's best dog walker.
Oh,
And she shot back something, and I came right back at her and said things that we probably shouldn't say on the air.
no,
Anyway.
well, all I can say, Leah, we can blame the word Yowza on oxytocin.
That's right.
Oxytocin. Okay.
Oxytocin.
Yeah, it
is
works
to
for me.
blame.
It works for me. Okay. Well, I don't want to have a show where we don't, even though this whole show has been about things pertaining to YAHOWAH, I had set up the morning show, I think, which we did mid-afternoon, for the express purpose except for you in the People's Republic of California there,
Of course, yeah.
Kirk, which you're now like 4 hours behind us.
Yeah.
And I said that I wanted to set this up because I wanted to turn to the 35th song, and we have some little time left in this program, so let's go ahead and head there. This is going to be a shocker for most people. Now, this is really, really tough medicine, the 35th song. So as we progress through the Mizmor of our King, I want to present this one. And I want to turn our attention to one of the most revealing moments in the Messiah's life. So in the order of things, after we have now pondered the 33rd and the 34th Mizmor, I present the 35th. It begins with the Messiah in an exceedingly feisty mood. He begins for Dowd. Yahweh, you have chosen to strive against, to quarrel and contend in hostile fashion, per my request, with those who are contentious against me and dispute what I represent.
Here.
You have decided to fight, to attack, by showing great hostility towards those who oppose me. Mizmor, Psalm 35:1. Wow. Well, we have the great Kevin now as a dog up there in the top. Might be an improvement. I don't know. He's pretty handsome as a dog. He's a handsome guy anyway. All right, Yahweh. So first of all, he starts with God's name. They're close. He and his father are exceedingly close.
On a first name basis.
On a first name
Yeah.
basis, Yahweh. He writes this in the call imperative, paragogic he, cohortative, second person, masculine singular. Oh, you've been fairly quiet down there, JB. What does the call imperative, paragogic he, cohortative, second person, masculine mean if you're going to apply it to a verb like rib?
I know the call means it is a literal action.
That is correct.
Imperative is second person volitional.
That is correct.
I
So
don't know
he is speaking to Yahweh. So that would be that Yahweh, this is what Yahweh wants, right? Okay, so call means interpret it genuinely and accurately, and there's no nuance here. This is for real. Just take my words for what they mean. Imperative means I'm expressing the will of the person I'm speaking to, which is in this case is Yahweh. Paragogic he, how about that one?
I don't know that one off the top of my head. My Hebrew
Okay.
grammar is a little rusty.
Kirk?
Paragogic hay. I have my little notes here. Paragogic hay is in an added letter that lengthens the word. There are two types, and it would be is that a paragogic in the nun?
Paragogic he.
Hey.
It
Oh, hey,
means
yeah,
to add,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
yeah. The purpose is to add emphasis.
yes.
I want to emphasize this. I want to be emphatic. How about emphatic? That's a good word. In fact, I think that's the word that the lexicons like to use grammatically. It means I want to make this point emphatically. No doubt. Call, literally, genuinely, actually. Imperative, I'm expressing the will of the person I'm speaking to, who happens to be Yahweh, God. Paragogic he, this is emphatic.
Mhm.
Cohortative. Gentlemen, who wants to tackle cohortative? What
First
is
person.
Together.
First person volition. Yeah, first person volition.
Fifth
First
is
person
our-
volition means he's speaking in first person. I want. This is what I want. So, Yahweh, he's speaking to Yahweh and he uses rib eth and called imperative, paragogic he, second person, masculine singular would mean you as God, masculine singular. No mommy here, no duality here. He's not a hermaphrodite. You God, masculine singular, you have decided that you want to strive against, to quarrel and contend in very hostile fashion. And this is per my request, because this is what I've asked you to do. With those who are contentious against me and who dispute what I represent. Who is most famous for disputing what Dowd represents?
Paul.
Shaul.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, Paul. Paul created the religion of Christianity by disputing what Dowd represents. He had Dowd dead and buried and excluded from heaven, so he could justify stealing Dowd's title, Son of God, Messiah, and Savior, and give them to his mythological creation, Iusu Christu. Christianity, Paul, is based upon this. So he's asking God to choose to quarrel against in very hostile fashion, to taunt, to accuse, to fight, to dispute Christians. Who is the second most egregious at being contentious against and disputing what Dowd represents?
Rabbis.
Akiba.
Kevin? Who is
Well, I
the
think they
second
got
most
rabbis.
contentious?
I was going to say Islam, but I
No,
agree with
rabbis.
you.
Rabbis.
Yeah,
No, rabbis. Because what Islam says about Dowd is stolen from the rabbis. The whole Quran surah about Dowd and the ant army and the listening to the birds and all of that sort of thing. It's all from the Talmud. It's a
Talmud,
stupid story from the Talmud that was just regurgitated in the Quran because Muhammad bought Talmud stories, recitals from the rabbis, and pretended they came from Allah. So the Quran story of Dowd is nothing more than the rabbi's corruption. And that was from the Babylonian Talmud, which was written around 4 to 500 BCE, 4 to 500 CE. No, the second worst is Rabbi Akiba.
Yeah.
Rabbi Akiba, rather than acknowledging that Dowd had fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Bikurim, which Dowd said, and he would have known. He would absolutely have known. It's impossible for someone to study the Torah and prophets and not know that Dowd said that he would be crucified 1,000 years before he was crucified, 22nd Mizmor. And you'll find it affirmed again in the 88th Mizmor. There's no denying that Dowd said he would be crucified. And there's no denying that Dowd told you the exact date that he would fulfill Chag Matzah, and that had been written in 555 BCE when Dowd, as Gabriel, spoke through Daniel and told us the exact date that he would fulfill Chag Matzah, which was Passover, Matzah, and Bikurim in 33 CE. And the first 30 Mizmor are clear that Dowd volunteered and that Yahweh agreed that he would be our Savior. The 88th Mizmor is emphatic. It is the paragogic hay of Mizmor. It says that Dowd's the one man. He's my chosen one. He is my son. He is the one who made the covenant possible. He is the exemplar. He is the shepherd. He is the Zarowa. He is the Messiah. He is the former and returning king. He is your savior. He is everything. And if you think anything different, then you're calling me a liar. They would have read all of that. They would have known all of that.
It's impossible not to know if you're a Hebrew speaker.
They'd have to be totally arrogant and into themselves and blind. So
Or
is it,
imbeciles.
is it possible to be so wrapped up in your religion and your own underwear that you could miss the obvious? Certainly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Akiba was
I could say that.
megalomaniac.
Yeah. How about I say he should have known all of that? There is no excuse for him not knowing all of that. That work?
Oh, yeah.
Akiba was a power-hungry megalomaniac, and he doubled
was.
down on
He
stupid
was
by
a
creating another
psychopath.
a
He had
false
35,000 of his disciples all die, and then he condemned them for their own deaths.
Yep.
Messiah. And then look
Psycho.
at the history
He is the
of
one. He is the one who brought a false Messiah in the Yobel year of 133 CE, knowing that he had missed 33 CE as year
33
4,000
CE.
Yah. And he brought Bar Kokhba as the Messiah, son of a star. It's where Israel got his six-pointed
Son of a
star
star.
that they rally around today.
Well, if
And
he
that
did
was
that-
such.
If he
Go
did
ahead.
that 133, what if he did that 133? Then he had to have known.
133.
He has no
of course he
excuse.
did. He did. Absolutely. He knew that in year 4000 Yah, which was 33 CE, the Messiah was to be here. And rabbis know it now. They know that there's a 6,000-year plan and that the Messiah came in year 4000 Yah. They just don't want to admit it. And he didn't. And so he, rather than accept Dowd as the Messiah, and rather than denounce the stupidity of this Iusu Christu being the Messiah, he fought a lie with a lie. And he brought Bar Kokhba out, and it brought the wrath of Rome on Judea, and Jews were slaughtered. The diaspora occurred, leading directly to the abuse of the Roman Catholic Church in Europe, and then to the Holocaust, and to the renaming of the land as Philistia, which is what is plaguing the country right now. All of that falls on the footsteps and the feet and the pen of Rabbi Akiba, the founder of Rabbinic Judaism. That's how disgusting you have to be a Jew wrapped up in Judaism. But yeah,
I really
think
sense the blood in the water. So if I may, Rabbinical Judaism is like Akiba. Psychologically, he's a psycho killer. He is a psychopath who has taken with him so many souls, and yet you still slobber all over him.
Yes.
It's disgusting. It is disgusting what we have done to each other.
There's 4 or 5 Jews that are going to be in the top 10 most hated by God. They start with the first person to call himself a rabbi, the person that you mentioned, Paul. Shaul, who became Paul. He's called the plague of death. He is the number one enemy of God. He wrote the first 14 books of the Christian New Testament. He's the one who created the religion of Christianity and the myth of Christ. He'll be number one. There's a Jew that people don't know was a Jew, but he was every bit of a Jew. Yeah, Leah's right. Muhammad created the most anti-Semitic religion in the history of humanity. And he is probably number 2, the second most hated person by Yahweh. The third is probably Akiba, because rather than directing Israel's attention to the Messiah, Dowd, he came up with a false one that caused Judea to be pummeled by Rome,
Slaughtered,
to be renamed
enslaved.
Philistia, for the diaspora to occur, and the resulting Holocaust. All
He could have been Hezekiah moment. As
He could have been, but he had exactly the opposite. So Akiba is probably the third most hated person.
As a Yehud, I find it very just bizarre that we basically worship a God who got us enslaved, slaughtered, starved.
Yep.
I mean,
correct.
the worst of humanity befallen on us and dispersed throughout the world.
I think the fourth.
We worship him.
I think the fourth.
Make no mistake, Yehud worship him.
I have to concur with my sister Leah. I have lost many a friend over this, and I gladly walk away from them because they are Akiba worshippers.
Yeah,
and
Akiba is the father of Rabbinic Judaism. There's no getting around it. The one that codified is Maimonides, and I would put him in the fourth position as the fourth most reprehensible person who ever lived, and God's fourth most hated individual that will be in Sheol. But yes, Maimonides and Akiba, and Akiba is worse than Maimonides.
Yeah. It's repulsive what's been done, and trying to undo it is quite the task, but nonetheless.
And it should be the easiest task in the world. All you have to do is to say, excuse me, but the father of Rabbinic Judaism lied to you about the Messiah. He brought a false Messiah when the real Messiah was absolutely known. And that false Messiah brought the wrath of Rome on Judea and caused the land to be destroyed, caused Jews to be crucified in the hundreds of thousands, caused the Jews to be brought into Europe as slaves, where they stayed as slaves to the Roman Catholic Church that grew out of Imperial Rome. And it led directly to the Holocaust and the pogroms that were so brutal to Jews, and the renaming of the land that you're dealing with right now, which will lead to this creation of a Palestinian state over this Philistia that
Correction,
that
Fakestein.
Hadrian brought upon Israel because of Akiba.
Mhm.
And so to
All because
and
of
have
Akiba.
35,000 of his own accolades all die and him blame them for their deaths. He was the most repulsive, disgusting, reprehensible, ignorant, egomaniacal psychopath
Piece of shit.
ever. I mean, he is every bit as disgusting as Paul, every bit as disgusting as Muhammad. And then you should be able to explain that to Jews. And if they're dealing with, like 5 active brain cells, you'd say, yeah, that's pretty stupid. We ought to stop believing in rabbinic Judaism, considering how it began. And then you get it even worse, because as I have proven conclusively, and it is undeniable, Islam exists, the Quran exists, because rabbis in Yathrib, today's Medina, sold Muhammad Talmud stories for $1. They created the Quran without the rabbis selling Muhammad Talmud stories to flesh out the Quran, to give it a sense of religiosity. There is no Islam.
And look at how they defend the state today, huh?
And look at what Islam has done to Jews and what it will do to Jews going forward. And that religion is solely the responsibility of rabbis.
Isn't it ironic that the Abrahamic Accord, the 3 Abrahamic religions, are
All
going to
created by
be the
Jews.
conduit into Yashaya 17?
Oh,
Good going.
the
3 for 3,
responsibility of
fellas.
rabbis. You would
3
think
for
that
3.
you prove that, and then to go one step further and to say that Paul, who admitted that he was a rabbi, the first to use that term, that Paul is the one who created the myth of Jesus. He's the one who blamed Jews for crucifying his God. And rather than destroy the religion with a little logic and Yahweh's testimony, Rabbi Akiba went and fought a false Messiah with another false Messiah, and he brought all this hell upon Israel and Jews. Ever since that, you'd think that since that is such an irrefutable explanation, the Jews would hear it and just said, oh boy, we have really been wrong. And it was these idiots that told us that God's name was Hashem as opposed to Yahweh. We ought to be disgusted. It was these idiots that brought in Purim and Hanukkah and Rosh Hashanah and have completely destroyed the purpose of matzah and Bikurim and Shabuah, and they completely misrepresent Passover, and they completely misrepresent Taruwah. They have replaced it with Rosh Hashanah, and they turn the day of reconciliations into a day of moaning and affliction and twirling chickens. And they think that the purpose of Sukah is to live in a damn palm hut.
And how about capitalizing with this, Craig? You've heard of Tisha B'Av, another rabbinical creation where they basically fast all day, bang their heads against the wall, and cry and suffer for the years of persecution that they've undergone, that they've created.
They created their own persecution.
Tisha
and they
B'Av.
persecute themselves with Judaism. It's the most persecuting religion ever. It is so egregious. It demands everything and it gives nothing back.
Moronism on steroids.
It's the opposite of what Yahweh has to offer.
Of course.
Yahweh offers liberation.
Yeah.
Judaism offers oppression.
Oppression.
Yahweh offers you your soul, and they offer nothing. It's dust. They offer death. They've always offered death.
They dress up for their own funeral.
And the black chariots will come.
And they even wear weasel hats.
No,
and
weasel hats.
For everyone listening, you're hearing 2 Yahuds who are really railing against it because it's what it is.
It is the most detestable of all the religions.
It is.
Okay.
Judaism is reprehensible. It's insane. It's the dumbest religion ever. And the sad thing is they were in a position to know better and should know better, and they don't.
And don't even get me started with Kabbalah.
Kabbalah this and Kabbalah that. I mean,
if you believe in Kabbalah, you deserve what you get.
When was the Zohar written there, guys? You know when the Zohar was written?
17th century?
15,
the 12th century. In what country?
Spain.
12th century in Spain is when the Zohar was written. And Does the Zohar have anything to do with Yahweh?
No,
No.
not
Was it
mentioned once, I'm sure.
It was inspired during that time that Dowd, as God's beloved son, and a prophet said that we're going to end prophecy with my fulfillment of Pesach, Matzah, and Bikurim. And so that was in 33, and this was in the 12th century, in the 1100s, is when the Zohar was written in Spain. That would mean that it's not inspired by God, wouldn't it?
Definitely not.
About 1,000 years.
And
That is inspired by occultism and nothing but.
it's demonic,
Hasatan.
occultic spiritualism.
So
It's woo-woo horseshit.
Oh my
I,
God, it's just disgusting.
It's horseshit.
I implore my fellow Yehudim, wherever you're listening, to separate Yehudaism from Judaism.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
To be a Yehud,
Either that or knock the Jew or the Yehud. into
what does
a
Yehud mean?
Beloved.
Yeah, it was
Beloved
beloved.
of Yah.
Yeah.
It's a compound name of two names. Yehud. Do you know who two names that Yehud is based on?
Yahweh and Dowd.
Yahweh Dowd.
No.
It is indeed Yahweh and Dowd.
Doesn't get better than that.
And so you need to stop being Jews and start being Yehud again.
Mm,
You're here.
yep.
And that comes from people who are philo-Shemitic. You hear
Yeah.
that? Philo-Shemitic.
Yes. Yeah, there is no person, no group of people on earth who love Yahweh Shem more than we do.
True.
And so we despise those who have erased it, hidden it, changed it, altered it in any way.
And that would be rabbis.
So
And you're right.
Yahweh, you have chosen to strive against, to quarrel and contend in hostile fashion per my request with those who are contentious against me and dispute what I represent, which is he is the Messiah. He is the Son of God. He is the chosen one. He is the King of Yisrael, past and future. He is our Savior.
Yes.
And anyone who quarrels with any of that, which would include Paul, Mark, Luke, Matthew, John, that whole cast of characters, Akiba, Maimonides, Muhammad, all of them, and all of those who believe them and promote their lies. You have decided to fight, attacking, showing great hostility towards those who oppose me. Well, to begin, La Dowd for Dowd is simple, it's direct, revealing that our king is writing these lyrics on his behalf. Now, it might seem inappropriate for some people to say, why would he write this on his behalf? Isn't he supposed to be speaking for God? Well, you're not going to ever meet God if you don't know what Dowd represents. If you are among those who have been dissuaded in recognizing that Dowd is our Savior, the very Son of God, the Messiah, the King, the returning King, then you'll never know Yahweh. So it's only by Dowd telling us how upset he is and how angry God is at those who are Christians, those who practice Judaism, at Muslims, at everyone who has robbed Dowd of his dignity. And that would include the AIs now. They don't have souls, but the programmers of the AIs do, who have denounced what we are saying about Dowd and are still trumpeting the myth of Jesus. Dowd wants to restore his reputation, and he should. He wants to reclaim his accomplishments from those who have robbed him of both Christianity and Judaism. As we have noted previously, Dowd is extremely disappointed. He is disgusted. He is angry with people generally and Israel specifically. And he should be.
Absolutely.
He not only suffered excruciating pain of crucifixion to fulfill Pesach, but he also endured the anguish of Sheol, going into hell on Matzah, doing both to extend our lives and to perfect our souls. He was already right with God. He wrote extensively about his impending sacrifices, leading us without excuse. He wrote about crucifixion 1,000 years before he endured it, 600 years before it was invented by the Romans, 700 years before, 600 years before Rome existed, 700 years before they invented crucifixion, 1,000 years before he endured it, and then told us the exact day that he would suffer it. And we didn't listen.
Never do.
He
Still not
told
listening.
us, still not listening.
Nope.
In spite of all this, Jews created Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all to defraud Dowd, the very Son of God, robbing from him his accolades and achievements. It was as if he endured it all for nothing. And he's so angry, he's asked God to strike back. You don't want God striking at you. I'm going to tell you. He's lethal when he wants to be, and it's even worse when he gets mad, and he's really mad, because there's far worse than God taking someone's life. That's sending him off to Sheol, and God is really upset. And it's not just that Dowd wants this, that God wants it too. He is more bothered by his son's achievements and the accolades that he offered his son being stolen than he is on any other crime. He wrote the 89th Mizmor to tell us all of these things, and even went as far as to say that anything and everything that I've said about Dowd, it all has to be true or I'm a liar. And he said, Dowd's my son. He's the Messiah. He's the returning king. He's Elyon. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Twice.
3 times.
Dowd, therefore, is seeking recompense. He's seeking revenge. He's upset. He's going to get it too, because Yahweh is as frustrated with the thieves as is his son. Together, they will accuse and taunt, dispute, and oppose those who have been contentious toward our God and the actual Messiah, the Son of God and Savior. This pits billions against the Almighty and King. You know, when we are
Sure does.
confronted with the Mother Goddess cult, and they've come out of the closet, they have committed suicide, they have actually posted their full Mother Goddess
Manifesto.
Manifesto.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yep.
say.
And I have
Vomit.
now read God's retort to them, because they always hang themselves on their own citations, and I
Oh my
have
God,
now
it's so
represented
beautiful.
God's answer to them. And I want to tell you, God is really smart. I decided this time I'm just going to get out of the way. Let God do his thing.
Exactly.
He is really, really good at this. He likes doing it, and no one can does it better. And so I just let God make his case with those statements, and it is riveting. It just takes your breath away. He's so good at it. Now imagine what he's going to do to those promoting Christianity.
Yeah.
Imagine what he's going to do to those promoting Judaism.
You'll be
Oy.
pretty.
He's going to send the black chariot for you.
Recompense. Prior to discovering and sharing Dowd's commitment to fulfilling the spring mikra, and then identifying and advocating on behalf of his titles and his place in our lives, no one recognized what Dowd had achieved, or why he was so frustrated with people for defrauding him that he wanted God to repay their hostility. JB, you and I have been together a long time. While you were contemplating the Torah, did it ever dawn on you that Dowd is actually the Passover lamb?
No. I remember when we
Or-
first started kind of coming to that realization, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I came up to the thought about 10 years before I announced it. And then about 5 years before I announced it, I was just really tied up in knots over it. I realized that it made sense, but I couldn't share it because I couldn't fathom why Dowd would volunteer for this or why God would agree to it.
Allow it. Yeah. I remember.
It took It took 10 years to work through all the issues associated with it. This was not an eureka kind of discovery that you say, well, there it is. Okay, I'm offering it to you. No, it was hidden in plain sight, but it's explaining how Dowd figured out he should do it.
Mhm.
And then ascertaining why Dowd agreed to do it. And then explaining why God accepted his son's willingness to suffer in this way for the benefits it would deliver. And then proving that every statement that God and Dowd made and every prophet made about this points us right in this direction. That took some doing. And Kirk, we've been together for a long time. I think you probably remember when I began to consider this, and it's really cathartic. This is the most profound declaration
Well, I
we
remember
humans have
even-
ever made.
I remember the last full day I was in Florida, and I went in there in your room while you were translating and writing, and I think we spoke more of, this is all about, you kept saying to me, this is all about, and I agreed, this is Paul against Dowd. And you could see it. To me, I really felt I could see where you were going with it, but I, like you, would he do that to his son? I think that was the big thing to wrap around your head. We hadn't gotten to the point where I understood that he's volunteering for this. He wants to do this. It's of his own
The
volition.
son is doing it for the family. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. He saw a different perspective because he was already a king of Israel, and he could say, I could do this, and I can get them now. I can capture them in the right kind of way, and he could exalt his father. So we hadn't gotten to that point, or I had not gotten to that point. But you were all over it. You just you're like a good debater. I want to have all my ducks in a row before I open my mouth and say this is.
Yeah, and part of that is because what it implies.
Mhm.
What it implies is that the reason that Paul was successful in creating the most popular religion in human history by inventing a mythological counterfeit and promoting a product of identity theft is because there was a crucifixion in 33.
Oh yeah.
Because
And
there
there's
was a
a lot of
king.
them.
There was a king that was crucified by Rome in 33 CE in Jerusalem. And because that individual was the Son of God. And because that individual was the Messiah. Because it all happened. And because it all happened, it was easy for him to say, well, I'm going to give a new name to that person, and we're going to turn that person into like Dionysus. We're going to blend the two together and turn him into a man god. And without Dowd having done these things in 33, and the Messiah having made this sacrifice for us as the very Son of God, there is no myth for Paul to rob. No man for him to counterfeit, no myth for him to rob, no credibility. No one's going to buy into his story, even though he was writing it 20 years after the fact. And so it was because Dowd did these things that Jesus became the counterfeit. And once you come to that point, now what you have determined is the single most caustic thing you can reveal in this world today, that there was no Jesus, that he is a counterfeit. He's nothing but a product of identity theft created by Paul in his 14 letters, beginning with Galatians in 52 CE.
Yeah. So kill your idols.
And
Think
so
of how much
that's
different
what-
it would be. Think of how much different it would be if the Septuagint placeholders said Dowd and Yahweh. I mean,
Yeah.
now we have all the whole fishes and the stories and stuff, and the miracles and everything is all junk that, because the chain of custody on the documents is horrible.
Right.
We gain nothing from it. But if the Septuagint had said Dowd and Yahweh, I mean, all the pieces are setting right there for you.
Yeah. And actually, God gave us a marvelous gift, kind of a backhanded way. But God speaks throughout the Torah and prophets of the Ebonim.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ebonim were those who volunteered to be at the right place in the right time. They wanted to do this. And they listened to the Sermon on the Mount that Dowd delivered. and they listened to the Olivet Discourse that Dowd delivered. Those are the two speeches that make the only thing that make Matthew different than the plagiarized portions. With 75% of Matthew comes from plagiarizing Mark and Luke. The only thing that's different is what he took from the Ebonim, who were Hebrew writers who witnessed what Dowd did and revealed the Sermon on the Mount and the Olivet Discourse, both of which individually and collectively destroy Christianity.
Yeah.
And the only reason we know what Dowd said on those occasions was because of the Ebonim. And so we do have a conduit back to them.
Figuring
And it is
out
true.
figuring out
But-
what the Ebonim did was it took some time though to figure out this part of Matthew. It's from the Ebonim. What 5:17 through 5:17 to 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explains
It's
why
good.
it's
It's all-
everything else in the Greek text.
Yeah. And you can go and the proof of the Ebonim from the Talmud. It's really an interesting story, and there's so many interlacing ways. But the Ebonim knew Yahweh's name; they knew that Dowd was the Messiah of Yahweh, and what they were writing, the rabbis wanted to destroy because, well, if it was Dowd and Yahweh, then there's no room for Judaism, and so. When the Ebonim started writing, and they were literate in Hebrew, they weren't writing in Greek. Everything else was written in Greek, much later. They were writing concurrent with these events in Hebrew, and they had a connection fit with them, and they wanted to kill them and destroy the text that they were written. And they had, you can see, and there's arguments in the Talmud saying, but we can't destroy the text because it's got Yahweh's name. What do we do? And they said, but well, we're going to make an exception on this point, destroy them, even though it's got Yahweh's name, because it was so caustic to Judaism. And so we know about the Ebonim from the rabbis who went against them. And then we know them again because the first to write in Christianity, all of them, spoke of the book of, they called it the book of the Hebrews. And they all mention the book of the Hebrews, and they know that the book of the Hebrews is where Matthew got the Sermon on the Mount and the Olivet Discourse. They know it. And oh, by the way, it also speaks of Jacob being the brother of Dowd. And so it's that's how we know what they wrote, and why you can look at the Sermon on the Mount, and if you analyze it, it is the most anti-Christian text imaginable, as is the Olivet Discourse. Olivet Discourse says if anybody says that you've seen a Christ, if there's a person who calls themselves Christ, don't believe them. That's a real fraud. Olivet Discourse says should be no Christianity. Don't believe anyone who claims to be a Christ. And the Sermon on the Mount, delivered by the Ebonim, says, I didn't come to annul the Torah, but to fulfill every aspect of the Torah. Every stroke of every Hebrew letter in the Torah will be fulfilled so long as the heavens and earth exist. Yeah.
Destroys
And
Christianity.
he actually says that the sheep in the wolf in sheep's clothing is the one that's going to defraud you, and that's Paul.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's devastating to Christianity.
I'm surprised they kept it in there.
So yeah, I'm surprised that it was printed, but if you look at the characters that created that codified Christianity, they weren't very bright, and they were really duplicitous. It was the whole text was put together and then augmented with that critical line: "You are the Christ, the Son of God, and upon this rock I'll build my church." That was written by Eusebius in the 4th century, and backdated into the text as first appears in Codex Vaticanus and the Codex Sinaiticus that Eusebius wrote. And so, as you say, the history of the Christian New Testament is hideous. There are more variants. Go ahead. I was going to say the more.
Three neurons could fit. I mean, what you've presented it like in a lawyerly way, And anybody with a few neurons should be able to say, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact of the matter is that that it is so easy to disprove. And if you look at the 5 volumes of Twistianity, you can't even get through volume 1 before you would want to puke all over the Christian New Testament. And by the time you're through 5, it's just over. I mean, it's just a thousand nails in the coffin of Christianity by the time it's over. And so this is the
fidelity of the text would just throw it out instantly. It was so horribly kept that trusted is ridiculous.
Do you know the account of the number of variations there are between the Textus Receptus, the basis of modern translations, and the earliest 69 manuscripts that we have found that predate Constantine and Eusebius? You know how many? There's 184,000. Yeah, under
300,000.
More versions than there are words.
More versions
Correct.
than words.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
As soon as you learn that fact, you should just throw the Greek text away, period. It's just not
Yeah, those Nimrods that want to say the Christian New Testament is the inerrant word of God and say, which one?
You're right. Yeah.
Because there's 300,000 known variances between the oldest copies and which you're citing from now.
It's
And many of the things that you're citing from, like you are the Christ and upon this rock I will build my church. Oh, by the way, that conversation concludes in both books. Don't tell anybody I'm the Christ.
Yeah.
and
But you're
and then
going ahead.
and both of them also conclude with the pretend Jesus fellow turning to pretend Peter and saying, "Get behind me, Satan," calling him satanic.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's just astonishing that what people will believe, and they will sacrifice their lives claiming that you are Satan for telling them the truth.
Yeah, well, it's the errant word of Halal ben Shakar. That's what it is.
It is. It is the word of Halal ben Shakar. It is Satan is the Lord. He is the Christian Jesus Christ. He is Allah. He is Hashem.
I hate Christianese.
It is incredibly disgusting. So rather than being a hateful or selfish request that Dowd made, it's actually in our interest.
Absolutely.
Because until Dowd's sacrifices are appreciated and accepted, there is no means to reconciliation. Dowd is responsible for making the covenant possible. God actually tells us that the covenant is enabled because of what Dowd achieved. Without Dowd, the benefits of the covenant cannot be delivered. They're delivered by the fulfillment of the spring mikre, Pesach, Matzah, Makodim, all 5 of the benefits of the covenant: eternal life, perfection, adoption, enrichment, and empowerment. Dowd provided them all. And if you don't know what Dowd did, you can't receive any of them. So you can't be covenant, which means you can't be saved, which means there is no life after this one. So what Dowd is requesting is in our interest. Dowd is responsible for making the covenant possible. To dispute this is worse than dying, because it results in an assured reservation in Sheol. Now, as a direct result, to denounce Dowd's herald places the soul also in the same predicament. And that may not sound to many people as being fair. That, Dowd is the one who made these sacrifices. Why would denouncing Dowd's herald, Yada, put you in the same circumstance?
It's associative.
Who's going to hear about it if you don't?
Dowd,
Yeah,
you're the only
that's
one
right.
telling people about Dowd. It's associative.
Yeah.
Correct. Without YadaYahowah, without Yada and YadaYahowah,
The whole thing's a
Dowd
bust.
Dowd is unknown.
It's the equation, Craig. Yada yada to YadaYahowah. That's just how it is. That's where the words leave.
It is. It truly is. Since Dowd's restoration wasn't known or acknowledged by anyone, and not for over 2,000 years prior to the publication of YadaYahowah and the promotion now of this YAHOWAH blog. Demeaning either is the equivalent of denouncing our Savior.
I've had enough of the 2,000 years of religious nonsense and suffering.
Been a
Human
bad
suffering.
2,000 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's going to end even worse. Boy, can we ever do an updated vlog on the vlog, my friend, based upon what's happened these last few days.
Oh,
So,
it's like watching the news is like whiplash now.
Those who oppose these findings will find that God himself and our King Dowd will contend against them, will hold them accountable. They have picked a fight with YAHOWAH. And that is one no one can win. Now you'll note that throughout this Mizmor that Dowd uses the cohortative and the imperative modes. He uses them together, just as he does throughout the first 30, now 5 Mow'ed or Mizmor. He always is blending the two. He is the only one who does. But that's the kind of relationship he has with YAHOWAH. He's always saying, I want and you want. We want. We have both decided on this. This is what we collectively have decided we want to achieve. It's always with Dowd that the imperative and the cohortative are blended together. And it's difficult to express in English. Well, not difficult, but you have to add words because when something is written in second person and it's you can't express Dowd's desire just by you, can you? So it's got to be you have decided and I want, or I want and you have decided. We both agree that we're going to attack them. We're going to quarrel with them. We're going to taunt them. We're going to be vicious towards those who have quarreled against what Dowd represents. Well, theirs is the greatest crime in human history. Counterfeit. Identity theft. And it remained unresolved prior to our collaboration. That's why our mission is so important, ladies and gentlemen. Until such time as I came to realize that God actually revealed this very message regarding his son Dowd, that no one had perceived that the shepherd is our Savior. No one had been able to deduce that Dowd is the Messiah, the Son of God, the chosen one, the returning king, or that he will live 3 lives, having fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Kipurym in 33 CE, or that he will return on Kipurym as the result of Taruw'ah for Sukah in 2033. Without these revelations and the proof that they are valid, God's plan of reconciliation remains unknown, and heaven is off limits. This exceptionally vital assessment must be understood to explain the vitriol on the psalmist's tongue. This is as hostile as we have ever witnessed our king. You've never seen him this angry. You've drawn him, illustrated him, pondered him. We talk about him all the time. He is like he is part of our family. You know, Leah and I, and now Rich, we are always talking about Dowd.
Yeah.
You're illustrating him.
He's the 4th person in the room.
He is. He's always the 4th person in the room when Rich is here. And you know, we love him, we respect him, we know him, we care about him. And yet he's been defrauded. And yet
I would be livid.
Yeah.
I would be livid.
I'm livid for him.
You know, they say counterfeit is the best flattery. That's horseshit.
I cry for the fact that here he was, and he agreed to be crucified by Rome and to go into hell carrying our guilt. And rather than appreciate him, his people.
You got the big middle finger.
I don't even want to say the words that I'm thinking. You would say them, wouldn't you, Asher?
Yes, you would.
Asher is pretending like she didn't get dinner. And so she is feed me, but I actually fed her dinner probably so early that she has forgotten that she has had dinner, and she's hit.
That was first dinner. Don't you know about
that was first dinner, Dad. You talk too long. You do this show too long. And we have gone 2 hours and 19 minutes, so we have past our time, and we'll conclude at this point. But I do want to favor, Rich, after you show your handsome face here so everybody knows that you're the man behind the cables, would you play Leah's song one more time?
Oh, sure.
Because I think it does do a nice job of concluding this program, doesn't it?
Yep.
So we'll listen one more time. But before he hits go, JB, thank you. My good friend, Dr. Jeff, always appreciated. We got great love for you, Kirk. We will be friends forevermore. And Kevin, you are an extraordinary man. I am so grateful that you're part of our family and that you have volunteered to do all of this work. And there he is. This is the master of the cables, the king of programming, our beloved Rich. Thank you, Rich, for doing this. I can see his little finger. He is so itching to get off the screen and to push Leah's song. Go for it, man.
Hear, 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 oh, you kings and princes, even I will sing unto YAHOWAH. Even I will sing his tenderness towards Yisrael. Memories flood like the river Yarden of laughter and tears. In the warmth of Yah's home, I faced all my fears. Oh, the man of Edom, Yada, walks the earth, bringing reconciliation and rebirth. In Yahweh's name we find light. In the darkness the man of Edom ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand, take Yah's promise in your hand. Speak softly to her, the potential bride. Walking in your word, we rise from the wilderness. Nations brought her low, and yet Yom Kipurym is filled with ambition. In this Nakry, blood is drawn. Oh, be still my soul, the man of Edom walks the earth, bringing hope and rebirth. In the shadows we find the voice of light. In the Nakry he ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand, take Yah's promise in your hand. Prepare the feast, let the heifer fall for us all on Yom Kippur. In the eyes of the children, you see the war is won. Kiss the king, don't let him frown. Time to lay our burdens down. Oh, my soul, the man of Edom walks the earth, bringing hope and rebirth. In Yahweh's name we find light. In the darkness of that day, he ignites. Let the waters flow sweet, no more bitterness to grieve. Together we will stand, take Yah's promise in your hand. Now wash your clothes, let the ashes and water blend. His love knows no end. The harlot stands cleansed, ready to wed. The man of Edom as her Zikaron.
Wow. It's Still a while.
Oof.
Isn't it
Well
wonderful
done.
to have this opportunity?
Yes, sir.
And as Dowd and YAHOWah have shown many times, sometimes just the best way to convey a message is to sing about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And what a lovely song to encapsulate everything we've been sharing this evening. Yisrael, this is for you. Dowd, this is for you. YAHOWah, this is for you. Good night. Shabbat Shalom.
Bye, shalom.
Thank you, Rich.
Shabbat
Thank you,
Shalom.
gentlemen. Thank you, Leah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.